Meeting of October 19th, 2015. Call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Let's please stand and pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All individuals are asked to either silence or turn off cell phones, pages, or other electronic devices that may disrupt the meeting. Approval of the agenda. Approve the agenda as posted in accordance with the open meeting law, and hereon place all agenda items on the table for discussion. What's the wish of the council? By motion. Second. Got a motion by Mayor Zilka, second by Councilman Hansen to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is adopted. Approval of the minutes. A copy of the minutes for special work session meeting of October 5th, 2015, the regular meeting of October 5th, 2015, and the special closed meeting of October 5th, 2015 are enclosed. What's the wish of the council?
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Knopfler, second by Alderman Hurkacz to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Approval of the bills. Approved checks 92816 through 92928, totaling $309,423.55. Mr. Gushek.
Page one, please. Page two. Page three. Page four. Page five. Six. Totals are on page seven. I make a motion to approve the bills. I'll second.
Got a motion by Councilman Gushek, second by Councilman Lodergan to approve the bills. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Bills are approved. Awards, donations, presentations, proclamations. Anybody got anything? Nothing. Move on to consent agenda. Animal control report, September 2015 received. Building department report, September 2015 received. Fire department report, September 2015 received. Housing redevelopment authority minutes, September 2015 received. Mayor's appointment, Doug Dahlberg, Energy and Environmental Committee, approved. Minnesota Department of Public Safety, turnout washer, ejector grant application. Fire Department, approved. Parade permit, special event application, West Side Improvement Association, Santa Parade, November 27, 2015, approved. Police Department report, September 2015, received. Public Works Department report, September 2015, received. Wastewater Treatment Facility report, September 2015, received. Water Treatment Facility report, September 2015, received. What's the wish of the council on the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Gushek, second by Alderman Hurkacz to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public hearings and lettings, leaf and brush collection, Bobomere rollout, refuge and recycling award. Lori?
As staff requested quotes for the fall leaf and brush collection, we received 2 quotes, one from Bob Lemire Roll-Offs Refuse and Recycling at $3,830. The second from City Sanitary at $3,899. Staff is recommending that we award the low quote for the fall leaf and brush collection to Bob Lemire. It would be held on October 31st, rain or shine, and the hauler would be leaving bags, so they're asked to leave your leaves in untied bags on the curb, and they'll pick them up and leave the bags.
What's the wish of the council?
If they don't leave them on tight, you don't pick them up?
No, they'll pick them up, they'll just rip the bag open and,
Boy, that's a pain.
yeah,
I helped Bob 2 years in a row, and boy, when they're tied,
yeah.
you either gotta have a knife and cut them open.
Yeah. And that's
Or
why
you
they
have to
ask
try
that
to
they be
unwrap.
untied, but if it's windy out, then sometimes they blow around, so.
I move that we approve the bid from the mineral off leaf pickup.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Alderman Hurkak, second by Councilman Lotigan, to award the bid to Bob Lemire Roloff for a total of $3,830 to be conducted on October 31st, 2015. Any discussion?
Are we expecting greater participation than last year? The price has gone up $1,000.
I believe last year was the first year we had the Belle Prairie annexation area in, so there's a lot more work to be done.
Thank you.
That one's from spring, so isn't the spring one usually less volume?
Spring one is less volume now.
Because it doesn't say what last fall's price was, it's just last spring's.
Last fall was about 1,000 last now.
Was it?
Yeah.
Spring and
It
fall
was-
are within a few bucks, I think.
The spring was $25.75, and then the fall, the second paragraph, the fall leaf collection last year was $29.70.
Oh, that's
So a motion by Hurkak, second by Lotigan. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Televised sanitary sewer, trunk highway 27, public improvements. Ward, Greg?
Staff requested quotes from 4 companies capable of televising sanitary sewers along Trunk Highway 27. If you recall, MINDOT is looking at resurfacing that road in 2018. So we want to make sure that the area that we restore or repair is the areas that need to be repaired. So staff is requesting that we award the low bid to Superior Jetting out of Zimmerman in the amount of $2,975 to be charged to the project.
Why is there such a big discrepancy between those two bids? I mean, from 3,000 to 10,000?
10,000. We had somewhat of a tight time frame. We wanted to get it done before basically the end of October. And I'm guessing the one contractor, Ritter & Ritter, more than likely had a full schedule already, and just threw out a bid to see if he got it, would be my guess. Normally, the prices are not that far apart and that high.
What's the wish of the council?
I'm going to make a motion to approve the low bid of $2,975 from Superior Jetting.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Gushik, second by Councilman Hanson, to award the bid to Superior Jetting. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Lease agreement, Franklin Outdoor Advertising, approved. City Administrator.
Again, as we discussed in the work session, we did further research on the sign ordinance relative to the time when this billboard was installed. In 1974, billboards were allowed, advertising signs. The sign did have a permit associated with it in 1984, and again when it was changed in 1985, before the moratorium on billboards was established, passed by resolution in 1983. So during that time, it was approved, and it was a legal non-conforming, or it currently still is a legal non-conforming sign. Our discussion with Franklin Outdoor was to either do an exchange of the billboard, that we can continue the lease at the proposed rates, or we can exchange it for sign value to be on a rotating sign somewhere within 25 miles around Little Falls. Or third option would be to discontinue the lease.
What's the wish of the council on the lease agreement? Can I get a motion?
I make motion to accept the lease agreement with Franklin Outdoor Advertising, where we do not take the $1,800 or $2,000. I would propose we take the one where we get it in lieu of signage within 25 miles of the community.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion by Mayor Zilka, second by Alderman Hercog, to approve the lease agreement with Franklin Outdoor Advertising. Any discussion?
Just a question, how are we going to monitor? I think it's a decent deal for us, but how are we gonna, whose responsibility is it going to be to keep track of that we have advertising out there, is my question. You know, the space available and, it seems to me if we're not paying attention and the sign company gets a better deal, if nobody's paying attention, are we gonna have our advertising?
Yeah, I think we could ask the company to give us an update anytime that the sign were to move.
That's what I would have, that's what I was gonna say, that either contact you or every time location is changed.
Any other discussion?
If I can, just a note, this is a 10-year lease. On this one, the advertising agreement, which is the next agreement, is just a 2-year.
Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries. Ordinance number 77, 6 series, amend and update city chapter code, administration and general governance, adopt city council. What's the wish of the council on ordinance 77?
Mr. President, I'll make a motion, we adopt ordinance 77.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Councilman Hanson, second by Councilman Gushik on updating and amending city chapter code, which basic recap on there is to remove language stating that notice special meetings may be waived when written as notice signed by all members of the council. Update to include a better outline of functions currently performed by the Department of Emergency Management, expanded boards, committees, and commissions. Updates to include number of members and term length for all. Zoning Board of Appeals deleted per Chapter 11. Planning Commission fills the role. Housing Advisory and Appeals Board deleted per Housing Maintenance Code. Deferrals of special assessments modified to accurately reflect how deferral assessments are handled. Military deferral added. Employee response time changed for the fire department to 10 minutes. Franchise agreements language is modified. Trust consistent voting language for all. That was our recap of what was done in Chapter 2. So I do have a motion by Hanson and a second by Gushik. So the ordinance, do we need a roll call?
Williams?
Yep, William? Question?
One question relative to the Minnesota Fishing Museum.
Okay.
The second page from the back. I somehow had thought that that was a separate entity, in that they have now joined with the History Museum or something in Brainerd, and they're trying to put 2 or 3 things together at a new location. So is this fishing museum a City of Little Falls entity, or is it a separate organization?
Sorry?
it's a separate organization, however, we hold the artifacts. Many of the artifacts have been donated to the city and then as part of their collection, but they display them. So if they move out of the city limits, then we'll have to deal with this.
So any changes then would have to affect this?
Yes, yeah.
Any other discussion? Ordinance, call the roll, please.
Boyer,
Yes.
Hurkak,
Yes?
Liljegren,
Yes.
Silka,
Yes.
Hansler,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Kuschig,
Yes.
Knopfler.
Yes.
Passes.
Ordinance number 77A, 6 series, summary publication of ordinance 77, 6 series, amend city chapter code. So we just need this one introduced.
It's just a summary of the ordinance you just adopted.
So we don't have to put out the long.
Right.
Right.
I make a
It should be
motion,
adopt though, not right, instead of introduce, adopt.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 77A.
Second that.
Got a motion by Councilman Bushik and second by Councilman Knopfler. To adopt the ordinance number 77A.
Yeah, we're just talking about that. I don't know if it was introduced last time, so you may have to wait till the next meeting to actually adopt it. I apologize. Yeah, so we're just referring over here to see if we had introduced it or not.
So we're just introducing
Just
77A.
introduced, so the motioner would just introduce it.
So we got a motion introduced by Councilman Bushik. On to new business, letter of retirement, Charles Holbert, Parks, Grounds, and Maintenance. Accept. Greg?
With regret, tonight I have in front of you the letter of retirement from Chuck Wolbert. Chuck has been with the city for 36 years, and he's looking at retiring at the end of the year, so I'd like to thank him for his service that he's had for the city and accept his retirement.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept Chuck's retirement.
Second?
I'll second.
Got a motion by Councilman Bushik, second by Councilman Liljegren to accept the letter of retirement from Charles Holbert. Any discussion?
I'd just like to thank him for the many years of service. I believe he's been a great employee for the city, and he's all around good guy, so it's gonna be a tough guy to replace.
I would like to echo them sentiments. I actually own the house that he grew up in, so I've got to know Chuck pretty well over the years.
And after 36 years, is there going to be some time to publicly say thank you to him? Or is there a celebration scheduled, or is he gonna just slide out the back door?
We need to visit with him about that.
Correct. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Amend personnel policy 34, emergency leave bank. Consider.
As we brought up in the work session, we were discussing the request made by an employee in writing to amend the personnel policy to allow for donation of time for an employee's dependent. And in the recommended policy changes discussed at the work session, staff proposes that to add the definition of based on family medical leave act of a serious health condition and dependents relative to family medical leave act, which are parents, spouse, or children of the employee. And then also to modify the donation of the time to be strictly kept confidential, not at the request of the employees. And then modify the approval of the request by the city administrator.
What's the wish of the council on policy 34 amendments?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Got a motion by Councilman Liljegren, second by Alderman Hurkak. Approve the amended personnel policy 34. Any discussion?
Yes, having had personal family experience with this, I realize the value and the importance of an opportunity such as this to assist other employees. And things can extend out for a long time. I had a grandson that had to stay at the Ronald McDonald House at the University of Minnesota for 8 months, and then follow up with about 10 years of treatment. And he's fine now, but in the meantime, the struggles and the concerns are very great. And something like this can assist in alleviating some of that.
Anyone else?
I'll be abstaining from the vote.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. One abstention. Planning Commission recommendation, Public Works Ordinance number 79, 6 series, amend City Chapter Code 11, land use regulations, portable storage units, accept, introduce.
At the Planning Commission, we held 3 public hearings last Monday evening, and the first one that we're going to talk about is Chapter 11 pertaining to portable storage units. This is the first reading of the ordinance, so we won't act on it until our next meeting, but in a nutshell, what the amendments to Chapter 11 encompass, basically they set limitations on the number of storage units that can be housed at one particular property, which would be 2 at one particular time. There are exemptions in there pertaining to active construction. So if you have an active building permit, then you're allowed to have portable storage units at that time as well. And I do have one recommendation to the change of the ordinance. It would be that it would take effect January 1st as opposed to 7 days after the second reading, just so we can make sure that if there are any other implications to other ordinances in our current ordinance, that we can get those updated at the same time as well.
So need a motion to introduce.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 79.
A motion to introduce by Councilman Bushwick. Ordinance number 86 series, amend City Chapter Code 11, land use regulations, off-street parking, accept, introduce.
With the off-street parking ordinance, this allows any home occupation or bed and breakfast to use on-street parking toward their parking requirements. Currently, any parking requirements would need to be off-street. So if you had a bed and breakfast or any other type of home occupation, all of that parking would be required to be off-street. This ordinance allows some of those conditions to use the on-street parking as long as there's no more than 3 spots in front of your property to be used, and there's no need for overnight stay. So again, that using the bed and breakfast as an example, if they were to have a bed and breakfast, those parking spots would not be allowed to be counted on the street. They would have to have off-street parking for those. This is only for daytime use, that these spots would be used for accounting for their parking requirements. I will say that depending on the property size, it's up to 3. So if your lot is only capable of handling 2 legal parking spots in front of their property, then you'd only be able to count 2 parking spots. And it has to be on the same side of the street as the property.
Can you get a motion to introduce? Ordinance 80. Our motion by Mayor Zolka. Introduce ordinance number 80. Resolution 2015-83, vacate right-of-way, Richardson's addition. Adopt.
The third public hearing, and I'll jump up over here. The third public hearing that we had was for the vacation of Richardson Edition. And you'll notice up here, there's a little bit of confusion originally in terms of, was it Richardson or Rich Jobson? This is the original plat that was for the parcel. You'll notice there's no R in the title, but in the script down here, you can't really see it, but it was called out as Richardson. So we actually pulled the judgment for what they vacated in 1916, and it does call it as Richardson. So you notice in the resolution it is called Richardson with an R. This here is basically a snapshot of what has been vacated and what has not been vacated. The red is the area that has been vacated with the judgment in 1916. The blue, which is a little tough, it's the alleys as well as a couple of the avenues that have not been vacated previously. As you can see from the exhibit, there's really no way to access those rights of way, and there's really no use from the city's perspective for those right of way into there. If that was ever to develop, that would need to be platted and right of way would need to be dedicated at that time. So the applicant has requested that those areas shaded in blue be vacated, basically to clean up the title work on that particular property.
What's the wish of the council on resolution 2015-83?
I make a motion to accept resolution 2015-83.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Councilman Gushik, second by Councilman Knopfler, to approve resolution 2015-83, vacate right away in Richardson addition. Any further discussion? Hearing none, resolution, call the roll, please.
Hurkah,
Yes.
Liljegren,
Yes.
Zilka,
Yes.
Hamfler,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Bushik,
Yes.
Knopfler,
Yes.
Boyum,
Yes.
carries.
Resolution 2015-84, certified delinquent utility and miscellaneous bills for collection, Morrison County. Doc, Lori?
So before you tonight, you have the resolution that would allow staff to certify delinquent utility bills and some other bills for meter repairs and those types of things for collection on property taxes for pay 2016.
What's the wish of the council? Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second?
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Hanson, second by Alderman Hurkah. Approve resolution 2015-84, certified delinquent accounts, the county. Any discussion? Hearing none, resolution, call the roll, please.
Liljegren,
Yes.
Zilka,
Yes.
Hamfler,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Bushik,
Yes.
Knopfler,
Yes.
Boyum,
Yes.
Hurkah,
Yes.
carries.
Resolution 2015-85, Little Falls Safe Routes to School Plan, adopt. Craig?
This evening in the work session, we heard from Tad from Region 5, basically go over the Safe Routes to School plan that was put together with conjunction from Region 5, the City of Little Falls School District, as well as the Morrison County Highway Department. This here illustrates the heat map where the highest density of students attending the various K through 8 schools are located. The Safe Routes to School identifies areas of potential improvement, whether it be sidewalks, trails, crossing improvements, flashing signs and such. And so tonight we'd be looking at approving the plan, adopting the plan, so that we can potentially go after some grants to get those improvements created.
What's the wish of the council?
I move that we adopt this resolution. Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Hurkah, second by Mayor Zilka, to approve resolution 2015-85, the Little Falls Safe Routes to School Plan. Any discussion? Hearing none, resolution, call the roll.
Zilka,
Yes.
Hamfler,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Bushik,
Yes.
Knopfler,
Yes.
Boyum,
Yes.
Hurkah,
Yes.
Liljegren,
Yes.
carries.
Any take-home reports on authorities, boards, bureaus, committees, commissions?
Mr. President, I have a couple of things I'd like to report on. First of all, on October 7th, I attended the Central Minnesota Decision Makers Symposium, which was held in Parker's Prairie. And for the benefit of Central Minnesota land use decision makers and administrators, Don Shelby was the keynote speaker, and Mr. Shelby is a very intelligent man and a great speaker. I believe Ben Olson was there. There's 2 or 3 county commissioners there, and it had a lot to do, of course, with our environment, and I didn't verify the claims of the speaker, but I take it that they're true. It was just interesting, some of these things he said, and I'll just give a couple examples. Mr. Shelby said that we worked through approximately May 3rd to pay for all of our energy that we use during the year, so all of our dollars from up to that time go towards energy. He also said it takes 500 years to replace 1 inch of topsoil. 1/3 of all the topsoil has been lost in the last 40 years worldwide. So 1/3 of it, not 1/3 of an inch. A handful of healthy soil has more microbes than all the people that have ever lived on Earth. And 10% of the U.S. topsoil seriously degraded and will never grow again. So some pretty unbelievable statements that really hit home. And Amy Kowalczyk was there from the county, so it was very interesting, and it'll be interesting to hear what Ben's take was on the entire thing. Also, today I had the extreme honor of listening to a Nobel Prize winner, local resident, Brian Kabilka, spoke up at the high school. It's kind of ironic how it started out. His uncle and aunt stopped me in the store and asked why the city has never recognized him. And in communication with Brian, he's not extremely extroverted, and he's a very humble man. And we talked about having a parade and having him be Grand Marshal, and he said absolutely not. He wasn't interested in any of that. In fact, it took convincing to get him to speak to the science class and then to staff afterwards. And extremely intelligent, unbelievable what he's working on. And I tried to explain it, but he's a lot smarter than I am. So I would suggest that you, Mark Deal said it will be on channel 181. I believe that's the school access channel. And I would highly recommend it, because what a humble man with extreme intelligence. And he credited everybody but himself. They asked about him receiving the Nobel Prize, and he goes to Stockholm for that. And he just said that it was because of a lot of other people, and he got it along with one of his associates that he had worked with. And somebody asked him about the money. Did that money go to the school? Because he's a professor at Stanford. Gabby was there. It was really a great day. But they asked him if he had to split the money with the school, and he said, no, just my partner and Uncle Sam. So he had a good sense of humor too. But I would suggest you watch that on channel 181. It is, be prepared to take notes. That's it.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Berkeley Veterans Trail met, the DNR for bicycle part of it on the west side has, they went through and surveyed, and they have a plan in place up to Lindbergh Park. The problem is getting across Pike Creek. It's going to take a little doing, and so they have to do a little bit further investigating there. So the plan isn't totally in place yet, and we're kind of waiting for the whole thing, but they do have everything ready up to Lindbergh Park, which is good news. It seems like we're finally getting somewhere on this. There was a discussion on how to spend the rest of the money. One idea was maybe stick most of it into finishing the the four-wheeler end of it, which would be on the east side of the river. The state did approve that, even though it's one trail, even if we split it off, some multi-use trail, they'll consider it the same trail anyway. So that's good news too, because we could have never ran it on the west side. So I guess something's going to happen here, not real soon, but one way or another, we have a pretty good plan in place, and the DNR is satisfied with what they have so far, and that's encouraging.
Anybody else? Dan?
This is my last meeting with you all. I want to thank all of you for all of your support. I also want to thank the previous council. I was hired here to come and consult with the city and act as a city administrator in 2012, and I want to thank those people that were on the council back then as well. Don't take what you have here for granted. You've got a great city council right now, and some of you have lived through some probably not so good times on the council. These are great times on your city council. You have a super staff Your department heads are all great, and the ones I've worked with in the past as well as the ones I'm working with now. You've got a great city administrator. I think he's going to do a wonderful job for you. And I also want to mention your consultants. You've got a building inspector that does a wonderful job, your planner, your housing inspector, as well as your city attorney who's sitting here with us now. I think everybody does really a good job. You know, I hope that over the last 3+ years, we've been able to accomplish a few things and do some good for the city. I know that, I think our department heads will agree that things have, you know, settled down pretty substantially compared to what things were when I came here back in 2012. But I just want to just again thank you all for giving me the opportunity to serve you. If you need anything in the future, as I've mentioned to John and the rest of your staff, just feel free to give me a call. We have to come back. We do have a little project we're going to be working on in the next couple weeks that'll be coming to the council in the next, probably the next meeting or so. So, you know, I will come back to that. But this is the last time you probably see me at a council meeting. I want to thank you all for giving me this opportunity, and you know, I hope that I wish you all very good results in the future. I think you'll do a great job together as you have in the past, and you know, I look forward to kind of keeping track of what happens, and you know, wish you all well. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, we stand adjourned.